I know we've got some stragglers and we're figuring out where everybody's going. We have quite literally a full house. So thank you all for being here. For those attending online, you can't see it, but there are many people in this room. And so we're very excited to have everybody here. It is 6:51. Thank you for the folks online for your patience as we navigated this largesse, this abundance. So we are, 6:51. Do I have a motion to open the meeting? Do we do a roll call on this one?
I think everybody's present.
Amanda's not.
But I'm not.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We have opened the meeting at 6:51. Is there anybody recording tonight? No. Okay, great. We are recording. Just as a housekeeping item, in the interest of time, if you have any comments, because we have so many people, I'm going to ask that you keep them below 5 minutes. I will be keeping a timer. Great. I have it on the notes that I am taking minutes, which would be helpful for y'all to see as well. But my friend Melanie over here, Melanie McCarthy, is taking minutes for us. I'm deeply grateful to Melanie for taking minutes for us. She is the Deputy Director at Berkshire Environmental Action Team, who we also have to thank for the catering dishes tonight, the dishes that you're eating with. They have a really cool free catering dish program where you can request catering dishes, and they have a commercial dishwasher. So we're reducing waste as we're gathering. I also just want to say a thank you to everyone here tonight. It's a really powerful thing to be in a room together and to be able to gather and share a meal with your neighbors. And I think especially as there's so much that's hard to watch in the world around us, there's a lot of grief and rage and sorrow that we can really feel deep in our bones. And they are also reminders of our values in the world. And so when we don't gather in community, when we don't look for solutions to problems in our own neighborhood, and when we refuse to let these feelings of grief and rage and sorrow open, we really let the violence and dehumanization win. So we can be furious in community, and this fury can show us what's possible. And building a web of neighbors is what we're all doing here tonight. And I'm grateful to be building this with all of you. Thank you. So with that being said, a very tactical thing. I met with Marilyn Bizowitz from the Historical Commission, but really from the Cemetery Commission. That was the original meeting that we had. And the Historical Commission has given each of the committee members for High C a copy of the second edition of Great Barrington Here and Gone by Bernie Drew. I had the chance to read it over winter break, and it's really interesting stuff. So if you have the opportunity to read it, there are copies at the Historical Society.
And I believe we have a copy at the library as well.
Amazing. So you could come take it out at the Ramsdale Library. Mm-hmm. The first order of business on our agenda, besides thanking Marilyn for those copies, is to develop some shared agreements. So I'm going to pull up another document here. So what we're doing in the process, we have a lot of new faces in the room from the community, but we also have new people on this committee who are new to working with each other. And I feel like it's really powerful and really strong to make sure that we have the opportunity to talk about how we actually want to work together and what those ways of working can look like in practice. And so I want to make sure that this work is something that people can sustain, not just survive. And I want us to take care of how we do it. So none of us should feel like we're doing it alone. And I know for me personally, I sometimes can feel like I do it alone. And so I want to make sure others don't either. This isn't really reflection for reflection's sake. These are a starting point. They can continue to evolve. And so I want to continue to iterate and check in on them so that we build strong community between ourselves, but also with y'all, our neighbors. So I've asked our committee, and I'll zoom in on this, to respond to a couple of questions that we'll develop 3 to 5 shared agreements on. The first one is, when this committee is working well, what's happening in the room? The second one is, what helps you contribute without burning out or pulling back? And the third is, when we miss each other's point in a conversation or when things feel tense or confusing, what would help us find our way back? I am happy to go through my answers first to be the guinea pig in the room, because I also know that it can be a little nerve-wracking to speak in front of this many people and be vulnerable. And so I'll share my 3 answers, and then I will ask each committee member to do the same. So in terms of when this committee is working well, what's happening in the room, I really feel like today's gathering is an embodiment of that. I feel like there is vibrancy, there's energy, there's a desire to commune together, there's active listening, and it's this moment of collaboration and kind of passion that all comes together. The thing that helps me contribute without burning out or pulling back is feeling supported and feeling like I have a group of people that I'm working with instead of working alone. I know that others share that feeling as well. And when we miss each other's point in a conversation, or when things feel tense or confusing, for me, something that would help us find our way back is just making sure that we pause and we call out the tension in the room, and we notice what's going on, and we make room for the feeling before we try and solve the structural issue, and really just actively listen even when we don't necessarily agree with somebody's perspective. So those are my 3 thoughts. Louise, can I pick on you?
Sure. When this committee is working well, what's happening in the room? I think it's more a feeling than anything else, and that it's a feeling of openness, liberty, freedom to share without judgment. What helps you contribute without burning out or pulling back? What you said, feeling supported, feeling like we're all pulling in the same direction. When we miss each other's point in conversations. What helps us find our way back? I would say communication, and as you said, stopping talking about it so that you can let it have some space to breathe and communicate, and then move on.
Thank you. Betsy, how about you? Oh, sorry. Ben, how about you?
When this committee is working well, what's happening in the room, I think we are seeing the example of what is working well, having the community actually be in the room here. There's no other committee like this in Barrington Town Government, truly. The one that is so focused on a neighborhood and a part of town the way that HIC is, and the ability for this committee to actually just have a conversation with people in Housatonic, I think makes it truly special. So doing everything we can to kind of get a broad collection of voices in the room and to work with us, I think makes the committee work even stronger. What else we can contribute without burning out or pulling back? It's, I think, a lot of the work that we've been doing this year with you as leader, just like knowing exactly what the expectations are, what our goals are. Just, I think it is real easy to, there's so much to do. We can take on a lot at once, and then that's how burnout can happen easily if we pace ourselves and kind of actually understand the right pace to do things at. And then when we miss each other's point in the conversation, it's finding that way to just de-escalate and take a breath, of just knowing that we are all on the same side. We might be coming at things from different angles, but no one here is in this room because everyone is in this room because they care about this time. Like, it's all just a big goal.
Thank you. Betsy, how about you?
So when this committee is working well, what's happening in the room, I've already heard so many sentiments echoed in what I wrote down. So I've got, connection, which we're seeing so much of with everybody who's just shown up tonight, enthusiastic interaction, good communication, like you were saying, active listening. Those are all things that I've already seen. And I think that is such an important part of what we're trying to do. What helps me contribute without burning out or pulling back is just having a sense of humor, approaching things and each other with patience, collaborative problem solving, taking breaks, knowing other members of the team can step up if or when we need them to, and remembering I don't have to do it all. You mentioned that yourself. That's a big problem for me too. And when we miss each other's point in a conversation, or when things feel tense or confusing, what would help us find our way back? I wrote, pausing to address the confusion, circling back with questions, asking for and providing clarity whenever there is confusion, restating or rephrasing things. because I find a lot of the time it just stems from like people interpreting something in a different way than was intended.
Wonderful. Thank you, Betsy. Eric, how about you?
Yeah, so when, I think, for number one, I think, the more we meet, the better we work together. So, even since day one with the HIC, it was a struggle because we're all on Zoom and half of us didn't even know what Zoom was when we started. And each time, each year goes by, our outreach gets better to the community, we get more involvement, and I think the way this committee has been and is, you know, we listen to kind of spoke to, we listen to everybody, and it was, you know, it's open to exactly the part of our town that it's named after. So I think it's just the gathering of our friends, neighbors, and committee members that is the most important there. What helps you to contribute without burning out or pulling back? You know, that's a challenging thing to be able to recognize in yourself and in others. So I have a tendency to overcommit at certain times, and just recognizing when I'm feeling overstretched and maybe tamping down my own expectations and not trying to overdo it so I don't let down my team. So, and then number three is you know, I had a few things in mind, but they've been touched on. But I think what's very important for me, and it's been a good lesson for me, is as we all do, we have a lot going on inside and outside of this committee. And so I always try to take some time before each meeting I go to and just clear my mind and make sure that all the little voices in there are focusing on the task of the meeting I'm at, and not maybe everything that I went through during the day. And then also, sometimes people that know me, I tend to ramble, and maybe my conversation and points get miscued. So it's always good for me to circle back and make sure that I'm being clear with everybody. So.
Thank you. Bev, how about you?
Saturday in the room. I think it's nice that we can work with, you know, the people that come in and stuff like that and give us our opinion, or they give us their opinion. And I think that's a good thing. The second one, contribute without running or pulling back. I don't know how to say this, well, I should probably, but I'm a little bit shy. And Eric, I think, and I are the first ones that were on the committee, and we're the ones that are still hearing on these. And we all get along, but sometimes I just hold my tongue because I don't know what to say. But I'm getting better. Right, Eric?
Very much, you know.
And then when you know, you have a conversation, you feel tense or confusing, what would you help to find your way back? I guess just to talk to people and say, you know, what's going on with us and stuff. I mean, not privately, but, you know, I think that's a good idea. I'm getting better.
Totally, Bev. Thank you. All right. So based on everything that we've just heard, if we can kind of think of a synthesis of a couple different points that might have some shared alignment for our committee. So something like some things that I want to make sure that we kind of mutually agree to are how to make how we show up when someone is overwhelmed or can't follow through, how disagreement is handled without personalization, respecting time and capacity both in meetings and outside of them. And then I think we all kind of touched on this, but really just codifying this into some language of like a shared commitment to treating our neighbors with dignity, even when our opinions differ. So does anybody want to put a stake in the sand and throw out our first agreement? A shared commitment to treating neighbors with dignity, even when opinions differ. Yep. Okay, that's on our first one. The peanut gallery is welcome to partake if you heard some things that you would like to throw out, spur some
focusing on the task at hand and centering yourself. Very important.
Do we all feel like that's something we can agree to? Okay. Yep, focus on the task at hand. Show up to the meetings centered and grounded.
Sarah, can you increase the font?
Oh, the font size?
Yes.
Oh, sure. We're just gonna do this then. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
I think what Jackie just said is, addresses the concern of burnout also, that if we just look at things piece by piece and not feel overwhelmed.
Yeah, and I think I would add to that of like, let's moving forward, make sure that we have an active commitment to communication between each other and like I think being able to trust each other and know that we care about each other is really important so that when things aren't going perfectly, when we don't have our ducks all in a row, we know that like as Ben said, we're all rowing on the same boat, we're all on the same team and there's like mutual care and respect in that. How we put that into a line? Any suggestions?
Maybe something along the lines of like respecting other people's like space and where they are and where like what commitment that they're actually taking on. We can do that maybe where someone's time commitment is. Something along the lines of like just, I don't know, communicating like the gravity of the task or how much resources it's gonna take and energy it's gonna take from an individual so that you can kind of prioritize who needs to do what and delegate.
Yeah, like be honest about your capacity.
Yeah, setting expectations.
Does that feel in alignment for everybody?
So you like ask for help.
Yeah, and ask for help. We're gonna embody a practice of asking for help. And then I think kind of the point that I was coming in with Ben's point of like, remember we're all rowing on the same boat. Remember we're all rowing on the same boat and trust and care are implicit in that. Yep. Are there any other agreements that we want to make?
I don't know if it's an agreement. I think it's more of a statement. Just to go sort of back to number one. And I think it's important to recognize that we shouldn't all agree on everything, right? And that's the point of it, it's the compromise moving forward with those sort of decisions, right? That's the point of having a diverse group at the table, and everybody to pitch in thoughts and then the old term, make the sausage out of it, so I think.
So let's add maybe encourage diversity of thought.
Yes. So people just agreeing to things.
Okay,
And maybe add and experience.
thought and experience. Thank you, Betsy. Okay. Do we feel like these four are a good starting point for us? Okay, and I just want to say like, this is new to us. We're doing this for the first time. We're figuring out how to work, but I'm going to ask, and I will share these out, but I'm going to ask that we just continue to reflect on these as a way of working together and kind of honor the truths that are inherent in these lines. And remember that like, we're all neighbors. We all care about each other. We all trust each other. And we all want to see good things happen for our community. Okay. Yep.
Number three,
Yep.
if we can word it in a way that, so not only people ask for help, but if you recognize someone needs help, then you can.
Maybe allow room for other people to intervene.
Yeah.
Or ask for help. Ask for and offer help. Be honest about your capacity. We're going to say period. Ask for and offer help.
Yes.
Great. Okay.
I have something to tie in.
Yeah.
Number 4.
Go for it, Tori.
I was
Oh, sorry. Can you, for the record, just say your first and last name and where you live?
Jenkins. I live in Pittsfield and Postmaster.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I think it's important to remember that no one person is bigger than the mission. the community is the trunk of the tree and we're all these different branches and extensions. But if we just remember that at the end of the day, it's about taking care of the root of that tree. And kind of put our own personal feelings aside and just come together and form more cohesiveness. So I think that's the biggest thing I would say, just no person is bigger than the community. And this is a really special.
100%. We are stronger together than we are apart.
For sure.
Okay, do we want to add that as a sentence? Okay, we are stronger together than we are apart. Okay, wonderful. Thank you all for listening and participating in this exercise. Hopefully it will continue to evolve, but I feel like these kinds of shared agreements are really something that are helpful when we're trying to build something with this many branches, to use your metaphor. Okay, so now we're gonna go back to the agenda. And is this font size okay for everybody?
Good.
Okay, great. So now we're gonna pivot. Ruby, where are you? Yes, we're gonna do there you are. We're gonna do the Ramsdale building update. I think that's next on the, yep, we're gonna do, okay, so this is Ruby Chang. Ruby, you just give like a brief introduction for yourself, and I'm gonna time you just as a reminder, 5 minutes.
Why do we just say my God?
Yeah, I guess so. Go ahead.
I'm the chair of the Ramsdale Building Committee, and also I'm a library trustee. And I'm also on the board of health. So I'm just really happy that we have all these recyclable plates and utensils. Thank you very much. But moving forward with the Ramsdale Building Committee, at this point, we're done with the planning and design phase of the MBLC grant. And we're just waiting for the review from the commissioners. So far, we have not heard that there was anything going on with our submission that requires additional work. So that's a good sign. They will let us know by the end of January how our submission went. And then we have to submit our final submission for the end of this phase, which will be due in March. So having said that, at this present moment, Freetown, which is ahead of us, is supposed to meet for a town warrant that to decide whether they will be part of the MBTA community act. If they do decide to say yes, then their project will go before the town meeting in June. And then the town has to decide as a community whether they want to go ahead with their library project. So we'll know by the end of June 30th whether we will be off the wait list or we will have to continue waiting until the next time that the MBLC has money for us. So that could be any time in the next 2 years. Okay, having said that. So we're trying to get, at this point, we're kind of like in a lull between the design and plan phase and the actual construction documents. And this is where we're going to need a lot of support from people. Tell us, how do you want the front of the library and the back of the library? What do you want to see? What do you want to see inside? How do you want things to be put together? What kind of lighting do you want? These are all things that is going to pertain to all of us. We want to save energy. We want to make this fossil fuel free so that we only use electricity in the future. So we won't have to have an energy drain in our town. What I'd like to know is, I'd just like to know how many people could, not that you actually did, but you could walk to the library. Can you raise your hand? How many people could? So this is a walkable community. If you walk to the Mason for the same gathering, would any of you walk to the Mason? No. I would.
Sure.
That this is a walkable community, and that is saying what you guys have all been saying. We help each other, we're out for each other, and we're there to make this community vibrant. And part of that vibrancy comes from having all the necessities that come with a community space. And that comes with, being able to be accessible. Anyone can come through. The bathrooms are accessible.
One more minute.
The air is accessible. So please keep watching Overlord.
Thanks so much, Ruby. Okay, I just have to, oh, we lost them. There was somebody online with the hand raised. Never mind. Louise, the trees.
Okay.
What's going on with the trees?
We have pre-ordered, you can't actually order trees, this is what I'm learning.
Sorry, for
Filter.
brief context, can you give like 2 sentences
Sure.
about what
I'm
we're
Louise
doing?
Goldsmith. I have been working on planting trees and in Housatonic and restoring the tree canopy, particularly along the sidewalks and the new extension of the rail trail. So we have raised money through tree sponsorships. And we have pre-ordered, I believe, 38 trees. You can't order them truly because we don't know if they're gonna live through the winter yet. But if they do, then we will get them in the spring, and we are going to hopefully have a big tree planting the weekend after Earth Day, which is April 22nd, if the ground thaws, but somewhere end of April, beginning of May. We will be asking all of you people to help us plant 38 trees. Actually, not really. Ethan's gonna do it. Anyway, and one of the ways, so you are welcome to sponsor a tree by going to Housatonic the Beautiful Fund. And we're the only, I think, sponsorship program there. It's $100 to sponsor a tree. It is for $165, however, you can have a personalized pet plaque that is in honor of or in memory of, if your pet is deceased, your dog's or cat's name and breed and the year that the tree was planted and the name of the tree species. So please consider supporting the restoration of the tree canopy in Housatonic.
Thank you, Louise. Donna, we had you down in all things Housatonic, but let's pop you up just to give an update on the Housatonic Filter Initiative, and please do full name, address.
Hey, Donna, be Park Street, which is right on the line between Great Barrington Village and Housatonic Village. So you all think I'm from Great Barrington, and they all think I'm from Housatonic. I need help. I need help, and I would really love it if you would put your name, address, email, phone, and whether you're willing to volunteer to help with the Housatonic Filter Initiative. Some of you may have heard of it, some of you may not. We started at the end of August, or actually August 1st, with the idea that we have to run around this failed decrepit utility that just can't seem to get the filtration together and the infrastructure together to provide clean water. I was in one of the affected households. I had very dirty groundwater, and I put a filtration system in my house, and now I have clean water. And I thought, well, wow, this really works. So if I can have clean water, why don't anybody have clean water? Let me just play this for you. This is from CTSB. Oops, sorry, and I think you'll enjoy this. I did forget, I had materials to distribute tonight, and they're in a blue folder. I don't have it in my house. So instead of that, you got started. Housatonic focus explicitly on.
You want to, never mind.
Bring vibrancy to the village and anywhere from social fabric to economic development to issue spaces we can be like water.
And what's your name? I think there's another big picture that understood, like, you got a wall right now.
Yeah.
But this is not, that's not. I don't know, this filter issue. It's also-
I think this probably one of the great fair and had pretty terrible summers in 22, 23, and 24. 90 days of coffee colored water in 2024. And in order to preserve my sanity and my property, and maybe wash a head of lettuce and have friends for dinner, I decided to install a filter. And having done that, because the result was priceless. And the water was clean. I thought that I had clean water, I had everyone had clean water. And I was lucky, I had the resources, I had to install the system, and I knew a lot of my neighbors could not, so I found this kind of, I should say, to bypass the struggles we had with the Department of Environmental Protection, the Department of Public Utilities, and the utility. I just go around that. And was great to have. So you all kind of heard that with that, you can see the whole of an hour and 16 minutes on CTS, community television of Southern Berkshire TV. All you have to do is Google YouTube, Housatonic Initiative, and you can hear all of the comments there. It's a great roundtable with wonderful inserts from the community. Eric, you look fabulous. And so does your filtering system. Julie, you look fabulous, and so does your reverse osmosis system that you had at Plankton Service that you're discussing. So where do we stand? It's been a long road since the end of August. I thought I could just go out and get money and help people buy filters.
1 minute left.
Give me some time, please. This is an important issue.
Hey, Donna, we talked about this over email. Everybody has 5 minutes. I'm limiting, we got a lot to, okay, great. Thank you.
And I'm gonna object to that policy. I'm just gonna register my objection.
Your complaint has been registered. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Donna. Moving on. We are now going to go to the work to be done update. So for those of you who are new here, we as a committee, and I'm just going to make this font larger for everybody, have been working on specific goals. We've set a series of 6 overarching goals with somewhere between 2 and 4 sub goals for each action item. And at our last meeting in November, each person on our committee chose several sub goals that they are going to be responsible for in the year. So what this document that we're looking at is what I've shared with each of our committee members, speaking to the specific action items that they are responsible for. Most of them are in advance of the next HIC meeting. Some of them don't have any action items for this month, and some of them have action items for the March HIC meeting. And so I just want to run through those with each of you and make sure that we're in alignment, and that we're moving towards targets that we feel comfortable with. So Bev, unfortunately, you're first for this one. In terms of supporting the Ramsdale renovation efforts, the sub goal that you're responsible for is hosting 2 public events with community library stakeholders before May 2026. And so the action item for you is determining event timing and locations by February, the next HIC meeting. Is that something that you're comfortable doing? Okay, and that sounds all right? Okay, great. The next one is creating and distributing at least 1 educational resource by May 2026, and that is both Betsy and Bev. The action item is outlining key questions or concerns from the community in preparation for, that should read for, the February HIC meeting. Betsy and Bev, does that sound all right to both of you? Do we have any comments, questions, or concerns about it? Great. Okay, the next one is about creating more opportunities for community connection. The sub goal is hosting or co-hosting 3 community events. That is myself, Betsy, and Eric. And the action item for the next High C meeting is to lock in dates for Halloween, Winter Lights, Party in the Park, Earth Day, and or ancillary events. And we'll talk about these two other events later tonight. But does that feel achievable for you two?
Yes.
Okay, great. The next one is piloting at least one new community gathering format by October 2026. That's me, and there are no action items for January. The third one is engaging at least 10 local volunteer partner groups throughout all High C items. That is Ben. Ben, I have you to map existing stakeholder groups by category by February. Does that sound achievable?
Yeah.
Okay. The third goal is advancing local trail and canopy restoration. The first is developing an actionable plan for connecting the Flag Rock Trail to the village core by December 2026. Eric, I know Amanda's not here, but the action item for the March High C meeting is to identify access points, right of way, or easement issues. Does that seem like something that is?
We have started discussions with a few folks. I'm trying to see where it got left off.
Okay.
So there's still a lot to learn, a lot to figure out. I feel like March is a good time out, so hopefully we get some good responses. But I'm having a meeting with the NRC and a few other folks, so they have history on it. I'll know better by February if that's a realistic date or not.
Okay, great. Thank you. As we heard from Louise, we are planting at least 20 new trees. Louise has no action items for January. We've launched a community tree sponsorship program, which Louise is responsible for, and there are no action items for January. The fourth goal we have is advocating for and advancing public outdoor spaces and improvement efforts. Amanda, Bev, and Eric have signed up to host at least one public forum or listening session to gather community priorities, and that has no action items for January. I have signed up for collaborating with Housatonic the Beautiful Fund and the Department of Public Works for at least 3 quick win beautification projects by October 2026. And I've already met with Housatonic the Beautiful Fund to identify some of those projects, which I will talk about later.
So just scroll up.
Oh, sorry. I'm looking at 2 different documents.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Also on the 4 is developing an inventory and visual map of potential public improvement sites by September. Ben, we slotted you in for that one, and compiling an initial list of public improvement sites by February. Does that seem manageable?
It does.
Okay, great. Thank you. Our 5th goal is strengthening Housatonic shared story and visual identity. The first is to begin design conversations with local artists for a public mural on the train trestle by August. Louise is responsible for that. And so the action item, Louise, for you is to identify and contact mural artists or artist collectives by February.
No.
Okay.
March.
Okay. By March. Yes. Name and address, please.
I got South Street.
Go ahead.
I would like to, maybe that's you that I collaborate with. I'd like to be.
Oh, yay.
Okay, so I'll leave you two to connect after the meeting and exchange contact information. The next one is creating a village logo and 1-page story by end of the year, and that is Ben, and there are no action items for January. And the final goal is to improve communication between High C and the community, and that is Amanda and Betsy. They're establishing at least one shared communication channel by June, and this can be in whatever format you'd like, and obviously Amanda's not here, so we're speaking for her. But the action item I've placed for y'all is to survey the community to assess preferred channels by February. Does that seem manageable?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yes, go ahead.
Going back.
Oh, name and address, please.
74 Division Street.
Thank you.
The village logo, Ben, I'd encourage you to get in contact with schools.
Cool, thank you. Okay, great. Any public?
I'm sorry to clarify.
Yeah.
Just to get submissions, kids might be interested.
Sure.
I'm a teacher at the middle school.
Great.
Been looking for ways to inspire community building amongst kids.
Great.
This is, the soul of the district, I feel like, so we can get that kind of connection with middle school, high school, elementary school.
Love it. Wonderful. Okay, thank you. Any other comments on our goals?
Yeah, I guess, going back up to goal 2, is,
Goal 2, this one, the
Yeah.
community events, yeah.
Just for clarity, we did decide that that's the amount of events we're having.
No,
No, okay, all right,
we can decide.
yeah. all right,
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, this was
That was just the list, we still.
this was the list. We're gonna talk about the list. Yep, correct. Any other? Yes.
I think I said this during the last meeting, the improvement of our community, I think it depends also on actionable follow through with things related to water. And so I don't know how we put that into practice, you know, the town has the $1,500.
Mhm.
I've been calling every single person I know, tell them about that and to apply for that, but I wonder whether amongst us as a citizen effort plus on the committee, something, because the town's not gonna, you know, the town's bigger, they have a big fish to fry, but here we are in Housatonic, and I think it depends on us. You know, I'm just pointing out that I know it's not a goal there for the year, but I wonder if something around that can be framed as a goal. Again, I'm definitely willing to help with that, I know that you already are, yeah, so,
Yeah.
I second that.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. We recognize and understand that water is a huge issue. And I think part of the structuring of these goals was to give support to some of the other areas of Housatonic as well. But I know Housatonic the Beautiful Fund is actively working on a lot of the water issues. Donna's working on the water issues. There's this rebate, and I encourage us to continue to have a collaborative conversation about it. Go ahead, name and address, please.
Pleasant Street. I could see ways for that to be folded into the community events so that people are involved and have, you know, access to the things that we're talking about through these community events, which are so useful. And also like a way for, you know, families to become more involved in different projects
Yeah.
as well, which was, I know, another item on the agenda.
Yep.
And I just like to put myself out there as a person who's been in education for 20 years. To support young families being able to even attend meetings like this, like you need to have somebody in that room with children who can sit down still, and find like a group of people who are willing to rotate to take that on so that people can come to meetings here, but also like to the park. Like it would be so great to have somebody who can provide some kind of enrichment for our community at the park on a regular basis.
Thank you.
And childcare if needed.
Totally. And I just am looking at my notes. Some of the low lift beautification efforts about water are that factor into some of these goals we discussed with Housatonic the Beautiful Fund, and I'll be talking about later. So that's
right.
Just note on that. And then because this is kind of my way of working, can I ask you to spearhead a volunteer childcare effort for the Housatonic Improvement Committee meetings?
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yes, and I may not always be able to be present.
That's totally fine. If anybody, would anybody else like to support this effort? Amazing. That would be great. Thank you. Because I think, Jovanina, go ahead. Oh, sorry. Also, name and address, please.
Oh, Jovanina Pagano, 74. Child care, select board people who are here. Childcare might be something that would be worth looking into that could be paid from the town, something or other. It's not that much money. It's, you know, doesn't happen that often. It happened at that one select board meeting that was with budget that I had from a grant. So, but childcare is to have been raised and it's sort of awareness around getting people to meeting. Involving youth and that, yeah. Pay down a little.
Ben, any immediate reflection on that as you are on the childcare committee?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fantastic idea. I think budget is always the question. If we have it, we don't have a lot of that so far. But it's definitely something we can look into, but I think it's definitely worthwhile to have for these kind of events, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
And also just to say, like, sometimes when we talk about budget things, we're thinking about a lot of money. Childcare could be $50 a meeting once a month. Like everyone here could put $3 in and we have childcare, you know?
Great. Thank you, Julie. Let's just continue to be in touch about it and figure out how to make that happen for us. Thank you for coming up with that idea. Any other things around the action items? No. Okay. Hearing nothing, we are now moving on to, where is my cursor? The brainstorm about how to get young people and young families in the community engaged with high C and community efforts. Just some initial thoughts around this. I want to keep this around 10 minutes just because, again, we have a lot to cover. I think this is a conversation certainly about accessibility. It's about young kids. It's about childcare as a barrier to access at meetings. As we just talked about, volunteer childcare could be a really important solution to that. But we also want to talk about social and cultural barriers here for people for whom English might not be the first language, and also for other people. You know, some people who have specific identities don't want to have to educate a room. They experience microaggressions, things of that nature, and so being thoughtful and sensitive to that in how we're having this discussion. But ultimately, I think there are kind of two questions that we want to answer here, and just get some initial thoughts around. How can we better resolve these issues for our neighbors, and what is kind of our target audience for these high C meetings? And so I'll open it to the committee first, and then I'll open it to the rest of the community after we've heard. So anybody from our committee have initial thoughts on this?
Well, I guess I'll start. Yeah, I guess it's, I mean, I feel like we've made vast improvements, filling the, how to do with, young people, I guess, maybe it would be by pulling in different calls that they want to see, right? So it's how to get them into the room so we can establish those calls and maybe we can use one of Louise's flyers and get it approved at school, to go out, and put, an agenda for item for the youth or however. And then you just mentioned, I mean, as far as our target group, I mean, I think it's anybody that lives and who's adopted, right? I guess I was confused by that last question as far as when you.
Well, I think it's like, is it, and this is more of a rhetorical question, but like, is it an adults only space? Is it adults and kids? Like, is it only English speaking people? Is it, obviously all of these questions are no, in my opinion, no. But thinking through like, okay, if the answer to that question is no, then what structures and resources are we willing to put or go find to make sure that it's accessible for all of our neighbors? And so I think the idea of like Louise's flyers at schools, and having an agenda or line item specifically on youth issues is something that we could include.
So to get a flyer put up at the school, you have to email it to the superintendent's assistant. She'll get it approved by the superintendent. If it's not approved, it won't go.
Right.
I don't.
For party in the park.
Yeah.
So we've had it go through before, and it definitely helps,
Absolutely. I do feel like it will be very difficult to get teens and kids to these meetings because of the time of day that they happen at. But I don't think that that's necessarily going to make it impossible to get them involved. I think that it will just be very hard to get them to the meetings. But if we have events that we open up and sort of, I don't want to say advertise because that's the wrong word, but if we put it out there that it is a high C event and it's open to them, they, I think, will participate. Like Party in the Park, they'll come. And if it's an event that they want to come and they want to participate in, they'll come. But I think it has to be earlier in the day or on a weekend.
Like Sid, how can we get,
No. That. Because of this conversation.
So yeah, if we're so the question is like, how can we better get young people and young family? Well, for you, we're going to focus on young people. How can we better get young people in the room? And what would you like to see happen? in the neighborhood, in Housatonic, but also in these meetings?
Okay, first of all, I feel like I'm sort of like different than a lot of my friends, and like I'm actually sort of interested in these things. So, and the ones who like there are other kids who are interested, and I feel like for them it wouldn't be much like very difficult besides just like you said, getting them to be here, like getting them here.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's like something you don't really have control over. But another way I feel is to make them think that they have, like, make them feel like there's something in it.
Mm.
Like they have a stake in it, because a lot of them don't really care if it doesn't affect them.
What does feeling like you have a stake in it look like for you?
I mean, it really depends on what it is.
What's something that you wish you could see in Housatonic?
I mean, just like more stuff. It's like I can really like go anywhere. Like my mom driving, so like more stuff I can walk to, if I to.
Mm-hmm.
There's one store, 2 restaurants. It's not very. Yeah.
More stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, name and address.
I'm Anna James, I live on Main Road, in Housatonic. I have kind of 2 points on the, like it's a little bit accessibility coded, and it's a little bit like you're saying advertisement is quite, recruiting sounds weird, but basically as far as like youth outreach goes, I found there's like 2 really good ways to kind of get a butterfly effect. For me, whenever we have something, like I have something that I'm trying to attract attention to, the 2 things that I would recommend is going to, like, not quite cliques, but groups. So like, for example, like since that he's interested in this, so maybe what you do is you find like a time slot where you can schedule a meeting and you like go to local school, you find a student government, ask student government, is there a night that you would be willing to sit in and see what local government looks like in a kind of like, in what our format looks like. This is a, committee that obviously was made by, is the path was forged by citizens who just want to see, change in their community. This is what it looks like. This is what we go through at a regular meeting, those kinds of things, and then open up a forum for them. Kind of almost like think of like touring factory, you know what I mean? It's like that kind of like introduction, and give them that kind of payoff, like, okay, you're already in this organization, you're already doing student government, you've already made a commitment to something attached to school, which is like basically their job. So you've already made this commitment. Would you like to opt into this like extra experience around that? And then you can also like open that up to other groups. I mean, like I know that a lot of like schools, like when we were doing theater, we would do scenes in like on the street in Ridgeland, and maybe you open up like a little showcase or something from local school and things like that. Also, as far as accessibility, I mean, maybe consider opening up, like it would be a little bit more chaotic. It wouldn't be as cohesive as this, but maybe down the line with that, doing something at the Trixie Dome, opening something up at the Dome, inviting kids. The kids are, kids who walk around Housatonic and spend their time in the park. They walk to the Dome, they even walk to the library, they walk, they're in and out of the store all day. So opening the space a little bit so that they can invite themselves. Their parents don't necessarily have to get them there. They don't have to be off work at the time. And then the other thing is maybe finding a way to kind of promote like a couple of youth leaders in the community. I mean, I know like kids kind of tend to travel in packs. There's friend groups and stuff, and reach out to a friend group and see like who is the focal person in this group who could encourage their friends to show up, and what would they want to show up for. I know a lot of the kids at the park would probably also I mean, there's already volunteers in the park, services for, things like that, but maybe a better system for like having like a soccer ball at the park, and like this, so it's not just there to get like picked up and swiped and stuff. Granted, that's hard to like establish, like honor system isn't the easiest thing, especially with teenagers and whatnot, but things along those lines, like, finding a youth leader, finding smaller groups, not just like trying to be like, hey, kids come, like, get a big, start somewhere small and let the kids kind of branch it out on their own. Because if you introduce a few people to it, eventually, this is a word of mouth town, it'll spread. Kids don't always have a lot of stuff to do.
I definitely see that. Yeah. I have the teen advisory board, and I got a girl, and then she started bringing friends. And then I have another girl who started bringing her friends, and they come to different crafts and things. I think a really big part of it too is that in that age group, they like to feel like they're actively doing something. it is gonna be hard for them to sit here and talk about doing something and talk about doing something. But if we have an event where we're like, hey, at this time, at this place, we're going to be doing this thing. You can come.
I think like the Hoosier Dog is a good spot.
Mhm.
I mean, people are gonna be going over there for Hoosier Ball anyways, maybe between a couple of games. You know, we kind of open up a forum for high C kind of things. As far as the tree planting and stuff goes on Earth Day, make it a kids, central thing, like kids would love to do that. You can even like have, find some way to like, artwork is a big thing for children who wanna be like creative and stuff, find some way to put up artwork around the town, maybe we can, find some way to, raise money or fund like a poster thing for Earth Day and, have kids design it themselves. Kids lose their pets too, maybe find a way to like fund something for, that, but yeah, I think starting small is probably a good idea. I mean, I know like like Patrick, the rest of the kids would probably be happy to spend the day if it's like the time he describes. No, I know, but I mean, I just want to do a good job. But yeah, I have to pick up on.
Hey, AJ, I'm gonna let Jovanina cut in. Thank you.
I think I just want to bring attention to, there is a, problematic nature with the question. So the question is assuming that this is the space and then it's like what do we do to bring these to the space? And so it's already centering it as an adult space and an adult sort of space that then it's just like any population that isn't represented. The question, like, how do we bring people of color? How do we bring youth is kind of, I think you need to turn it on its head. So I appreciate what you said, Langston, and I think that going to youth and saying, how can space be something that you would want to be a part of and have a sense of ownership in, and letting it start not like what can we do to make you come, but what can we do so that this is yours as well.
It's a great push. Thank you. Wiley, go ahead and name and address, please.
Yeah, I was thinking that similarly that we could do a like HIC at, HIC at First Repulse, HIC at Housatonic, HIC at the school, and actually like again piggyback on things. I mean, there's a ton of families and kids, and they drop their kids off for dance classes or whatever at the Guthrie Center or whatever. Like try to move the meeting, maybe not in winter or whatever, but when the weather gets warmer, and try to piggyback on things that are already happening. So if you just drop your kid off at ballet class and you're just like, you've got an hour, like maybe we find a space there and then we have a meeting or something that happens kind of on top of that. At Kilpatrick would be another great place. I'm really interested. It's a youth as a population I'm super interested in. I mentor a kid through 18 degrees. Actually, that's been part of the reason that it's been hard for me to do these because I've had unfortunate conflicts with I think 18 degrees, but that's another issue. So I'd be super interested in like starting a youth, like you guys want a kind of youth advisory, like a liaison or a subcommittee or something like that that's focused on that population. I'd be really happy to like put a monument or whatever, these three things to sort of spread the word and bring it to you.
Thank you. Hold on one second. Yeah, Sam, go ahead.
RNA, Student Adult Advisory Board, SAAB, SOB, Student Adult Advisory Board is the group to go to at the high school. Thanks, and who are the people to get in touch with? The faculty.
Mr. Romano. Mr.
Kelsey Romano.
Yeah.
No, it's Rachel. Rachel Siegel.
Okay. I mean, Langston's part of the student adult. There's lots of subcommittees on the student adult advisory board. That's Romano. Anyway, it's
Kelsey Romano. We will reach out to Kelsey.
Andinello or Christinello. So there's a couple of names. You can get started with that. If
Perfect.
you're interested in having that conversation, probably a good place to start.
Thank you.
Student leaders. Sorry.
Name and address, please.
Jennifer.
Yep.
84 Main Street. An idea that was was out there maybe years ago, and it was to have a programming board made up of young people with a pot of money to put programming into the Woozy Duck that was underutilized, taking the small amount of rent that they could
they're renting space for various activities and having that as seed money. And then the kids decide what they do with it or what they have to use it. And then there was, it was open on snow days for a while. And that was work the greatest. So that may not be the best way to launch it, but that.
Thank you. Yeah, that's helpful context. We're going to continue to think about this. This is a great start for us. I love the idea of reaching out to student adult advisory board at the high school. And so stay tuned. The next thing we have, any other? Jovanina.
So sorry. Melanie, I know that Beat has simultaneous translation.
We do, but it's language justice solutions. I could do it in person and yeah, it's a headset. So it's Spanish, English translation live. And yeah, we can put you in touch with them.
That would be great, Melanie. Please and thank you. Okay, now we're moving on to the committee admin. I'm hopeful that we can just crank through this in the interest of time. The first thing that I want to note, I had a conversation with Town Manager Liz Hartsgrove on putting together some town funds in the proposed budget for beautification and celebration for focusing on a pilot. And so she envisions that half of the money would go to organizations in Housatonic and half of the money would go to organizations in Great Barrington. For the half of the money that would go to organizations in Housatonic, she's asked High C to put together a rough number of how much we would like to go towards this, how much we could envision, like how much money we want to put towards a pilot in the first year. And she asked us to agree on a number, and I will send that back to her. The number that she said as kind of the cap is $7,500. And so I wanted to open that up to the committee and get a sense of how close to that number we want to ask for.
I would suggest asking for all of it.
Okay. Yep. Do we have, does everybody agree with that? Okay, great. Ask Liz for all the money.
Pilot is that for again?
This is for beautification and celebration efforts. It's a pilot it's a new thing that we just discussed a couple weeks ago. AJ.
Quick suggestions to roll into that, and kind of speaking of like outreach and things like that, and then going to people, not to totally college campuses, but like we were saying, it's a walkable town. Bulletin boards and suggestion boxes are wonderful for spreading news and communicating with people. They won't be used very frequently at first, but you put like, especially like a suggestion box, you don't just want to throw it out there, put a little blurb, what's on the agenda this month, what do you have to say about it? And then having someone kind of like filter through that kind of information, and then update the bulletin board. I mean, the store has more business cards and current events, including for this committee meeting, everything. Like I don't have room for it. We tape it on any surface we can. It's on the counter, it's on the side. People stop, they look at it, they miss things, they see things the next time. So having a place to put that, I mean, I've even considered trying to find a way to put one outside the store, but I can't really encourage people to just stand outside the store all day reading.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because this is a new program, we'll figure out kind of the mechanics of how to activate on some of these ideas and work in partnership with the organizations. But in the meantime, I will ask Liz for all the money. We're going to move on. Louise, in a previous meeting, requested that we get more Tree City USA plaques for Housatonic. I, as a member of the tree committee, have spoken to the tree committee about this. Julie Anajar, the chair, would like to know from us, where would we like them and how many? And then Julie would ask the Arbor Day Foundation.
I hadn't thought about where there should be or how many.
Do we have any thoughts on where they should be and how many?
I'm just gonna say 4.
All right, we're gonna ask for 4 tree plaques. Nope, sorry, 4 Arbor Day Foundation signs. Yep, go ahead.
I guess I just threw that number out. I'm thinking of, in my mind, kind of like the 4 corners that I think of, and it would be right near Taft Farms, the other end of Division Street, coming in on 41 when you come in from West Stockbridge, and then right over here when you come in from. on
Yeah, I agree.
93.
There is one coming in south from Stockbridge.
But that's old and faded.
Okay, we want four.
Yeah.
We want a new one.
Just for starters.
Okay.
Yeah, just for starters.
Just for starters, we're gonna ask for 4 plaques. Great. Moving on to the next one, we have a High C Town email address. It's highc@townofgbma.gov. Just a note that exists. I think as Betsy and Amanda continue to work on communications channels, we'll be able to leverage that more. When I send emails out, I've been including it as please respond to this email address if you want to get put on. I have an email list at the moment of over 90 people, which is how many of you got here. And so just noting that we have that, and I'm checking that inbox once a week, but Betsy and Amanda also have the login information. The other thing that I wanted to mention is Amanda's not here, but I want to thank Amanda and Louise for putting up the flyers this month that are all around the village. Louise will be out next month, and so Betsy, I'm wondering if you can work with Amanda to help make that happen.
Yep.
Okay, amazing. Thank you. Okay, now we are going to do the approval of minutes from November 18th, 2025. Do we have any questions, comments, or concerns about the minutes?
Then I will be abstaining because I was not there.
Thank you, Ben. I'm going to remember that for the next 10 seconds, and then it's going to get forgotten. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Great. Multiple ayes. The minutes are approved. The next meeting dates we have on the agenda are February 24th and March 24th. Do those work for everybody?
I think that's gonna be, surely for these, it's gonna be, we have a lot of budget meetings, and that night's a budget meeting.
Okay, February
February
24th.
might be tricky.
Would the 20,
Say that
would the 23rd work instead?
I think 23rd is a select board meeting. Yeah. 25th is a meeting, the 26th I have a meeting. Four for a quorum.
Amanda, Sarah, Bev, Betsy.
Yeah, so that's it, we don't,
Okay, we're gonna tentatively hold it for the 24th. And then March 24th as well?
Fine.
Okay.
If we can't do February, would we be able to do it the week before?
Maybe. Let me send out an email about the week before.
Can you scroll up?
Oh, I apologize. Are you trying to look at all of the meeting dates?
I just want to know.
Okay. All right, send email about week before. Okay, now Betsy, can you take minutes for February 24th?
Yes.
Ben, can you take minutes for March 24th? Thank you. Okay, now we are going to move into all things Housatonic, which is here. 3 things of note that are on the agenda, and then a couple other things, and I'm sure everybody else has things to contribute as well. There are free meals at Taft Farms and Guthrie Center. Guthrie Center is Wednesdays at noon. There is no requirement to attend. You can walk in and get food, and then Taft Farms has these little coupons by the register, and there are no questions asked, and I just want to make sure that we're aware of food support in our community. The second is that there is the new $1,500 Housatonic Water Work customer rebate, and so more information about that can be found on the town website. And I'm going to come back to the update on Party in the Park and Earth Day. The first thing I want to get an action item on, we talked about this previously in November, kind of as a tentative. We've been working with Berkshire Busk to think about a pilot event in Housatonic. We've confirmed a date, to a tentative date of July 18th from 1 to 5 p.m. I have, in a conversation with them, they asked if we were able to provide any money. We are not a monetary committee. And so we are not able to provide financial support, but they asked if we would be able to support their process with the Arts Built Community Grant from Berkshire Taconic. Do we have committee approval to support that process and help them with that grant application?
What's that mean? You just literally.
Like would help them write the grant. I would help them write the grant.
I'm all for some.
I can also.
Okay, Betsy and I will help them write the grant. Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Go. Yep.
So, as part of this meeting with the Berkshire Bus folks, if there's anyone in the community who is interested in, being part of that day. So they want the whole, their vision is to have all of Depot Street, filled with vendors and musicians and craft people and clowns and kind of some overlap with Party in the Park folks who do that. But anyway, so if there are people who are interested, then talk to Sarah.
Yep, talk to me.
Discussion. Do we ask questions now?
Yeah, go ahead and ask questions.
How did that street get determined?
I didn't say any streets.
Depot Street?
Oh, you said Depot Street. Oh,
Oh.
hold on. It was Depot Street and Main Streets. We did a walk around of the community to try and identify spots that would be conducive to bringing in kind of performers of different types and allow people to really get a sense of the village as a whole and walk around the core. So that is the reason why it's from 1 to 5 p.m. is to try and make it as minimally invasive to people's day-to-day lives, and understanding that the post office is a highly trafficked area and A&B's is a highly trafficked area, but there are also homes on those streets and trying to be respectful of that as well.
And I thought it would be really great photo ops from the top of Depot looking down and the railroad and the mountains.
Yeah.
And the water tower.
Yeah.
Gotta get that tower.
Gotta get the tower. AJ.
Anna. Yeah. So we did, like pre-Party in the Park, we were talking about closing down Depot Street for a block party. We talked about it for honestly years. I even brought it up with Joey Abigail when he was still owning the place. There obviously, we've discussed some of the issues with it. My big thing is the community needs to know.
Yep.
Everybody needs to know.
Yep.
Very well.
Yep.
Like there has to be date and time. 1 to 5 is like busy, like our busiest time on that street.
Mm-hmm.
We already have like parking things. Like it's gonna be like akin to like a big funeral at the church. People aren't gonna have a place to park. They aren't gonna have like a way to get there. On the other hand, though, like it is a very conducive spot for that kind of community gathering. It's just gonna be like making sure that everyone knows it's happening. Talking to the churches, talking to the post office, the store, obviously. But yeah, that's gonna be more about like that's gonna be something that like you need to like have everybody.
Yeah, it's why we're starting talking about it in February.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. The second thing that I wanted to note on that is so there's actually now is probably a good time. Eric, can you give an update on Party in the Park and Earth Day?
Yeah, so we established a date for this year. Party in the Park will be June 13th. It's a Saturday, second Saturday of June, 12 to 4 is what we're targeting for our regular hours. And live music, all the fun events, and we're hoping to add to it each year. So this year, we do a little more. Then Earth Day cleanup. We are talking about doing the weekend. I believe Earth Day falls right in the middle of the week, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to do it the Saturday after. Our thoughts on that were because it'll be 1 week later and it'll be even warmer and the ground will be defrost. Maybe the snow will be away and it'll be apparent that we'll have to pick up. So we're going to coordinate that. through the town. We always end up starting the day off right here in front of the library. There'll be maps and stuff with targeted locations that we will, have scouted out, which needs extra attention. And then each year, it seems like a lot of the same folks keep coming back and they have their specific spots that they want to go to. So we'll just have a little organization, some coffee in the morning, maybe a croissant or two. And then after, we always like to gather at the park in Housatonic and count all the nits that we pick up and have our little competitions and enjoy the day and maybe at some point also stick a tree in the ground.
Yeah, with that, Louise, can you and Chris ID a site for the singular tree to be planted on Earth Day in conjunction with Housatonic, the Beautiful Fund?
Yes.
Thank you. We have partnered together on this to secure town permissions for events. Do we need a vote on whether or not we need to submit those applications?
I mean, it probably wouldn't hurt to take a vote that approve.
Yeah.
We want to move forward on June 13th.
And do we need any applications for Earth Day?
No, Earth Day it's turned into like a town-wide event.
Great.
And the town helps with flyers and they supply the garbage bags and the pickup. So.
Okay, so all those in favor of supporting Party in the Park town permission applications?
Aye.
Great. Oh, I guess we needed a motion in a second, but we're going to assume that there has been a motion in a second. Going back to the events, something that I've been talking about with some people is the idea of an August long table event, which is where we set up a long table somewhere in our community and we have kind of a community-wide potluck. Everybody kind of chips in $10 and we all can kind of fundraise for some larger thing that we'd like to see happen in Hoosie. I just want to bring that idea up and ask anybody for their thoughts or comments on it. Any immediate reactions?
My feeling is that logistics for a potluck at that scale might be hard outside. And I think we were also talking about an idea of like a food truck, like bringing in food truck. Like if we like almost like have like a food truck festival with a long table as the a little easier to. And I think it's also something that draws people from outside the community as well, which is.
Okay. I would love to figure out a way if we can raise some money for some things that we want to do in the community around that. So, okay, let's just continue to have that conversation. Aforementioned Marilyn Bizowitz, who gave us the Bernie Drew books, she has agreed to help me put together a walking tour of Housatonic. I've reached out to Malcolm Fick, who's at the Historical Commission, because they've put their own walking tours together. We need tour stops to find for each stop text, photos, and audio narration with a script and a voice. Would anybody in this room like to be of support? Wiley?
And if there's a date, if you haven't set a date for that, there's a thing every year around the country or world even called where they have Jane's Walk, which is named after Jane Jacobs.
Yep.
So it could be done as a Jane's Walk, which would be super cool.
Great. The idea is that it would also go on a digital app so that people walking around Housatonic could do it themselves.
I'm an audio producer.
Oh, amazing. Sorry, name and address.
I'm Olivia. Be good.
Oh, Olivia. Okay,
Yeah.
Great. Olivia, I'm going to put you down as well. Anybody else want to help with the walking tour? No, that's fine.
I can do some outreach for stops and destinations and talk to some local businesses. I know like Craig at the restaurant and stuff.
Yeah.
Like the library.
That'd be great. Will you just make sure that you give me your email
Yes.
after the end of this? Okay. And were you raising your hand? Remind me your name, please. Jennifer, last name? Jab. Okay. And will you also just please give me your email before you leave? Okay. Thank you. Okay, wonderful. We have that problem solved. Ben, can you give a quick update on the fiber situation for Hizzy Buildings?
Exciting. It's been years-long process by this point. But so basically, when they installed the fiber line through Berkshire County, they ran it down Route 7. That's where the trunk is kind of running and everything runs off. Obviously, we're on Route 7, and so we're not going to have that fiber line come into time. That's been working with all the people that own the poles and Fiber Connect, a local vendor. They have extended a trunk line here to Housatonic. So now this building that we're in, the fire station and the Hoosie Dome are all on a fiber connection running at least a 10 gigabyte per second connection in all of those buildings, which is fantastic. And then come this spring, we will be installing hotspots that should be expanding a Wi-Fi network kind of throughout the village here with those speeds, which obviously anyone who's spent time here knows that cell phone connection is a lingering quality of life issue. So we'll have a free, very fast Wi-Fi network that people can make calls on. It will be a great asset when we do events like Party in the Park. We've always had struggled with our vendors being able to do card sales and things like that. So now we'll have just the ability to do more things in our public spaces. So it's really exciting. So
That just to piggyback on what Ben said, it'll be the Wi-Fi for starters will be in the village center corridor of Housatonic, because that is where the main event spot is. And then after that, Fiber Connect should be reaching out to homes as they build out and offer their services at whatever rate it may be.
yeah, and I do believe that I don't have the numbers with me, but there will be kind of a discount Housatonic rate offered to Housatonic residents from Fiber Connect as now the service is available here. So that's just something to look out for as well.
Thank you, Ben. Okay, we have on the line Olivia Lopez with the EPA and Bill Callan at GE. I've been in contact with the two of them after the open house about the upland disposal facility was done in Lee in December. We're having ongoing conversations about really bringing them into the community and making sure that people understand far in advance what's going to happen with the rising pond dam and the potential design process. And so I think I can promote. Oh, I'm going to allow both Olivia and Bill to talk. And nope, sorry, I've done the wrong person. Nope. Okay, Olivia and Bill, whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Hi,
ahead,
yeah.
There you
Oh, go ahead, Bill.
Okay, hold on.
Go ahead, Olivia.
Hi there. My name is Olivia Lopez. I'm so sorry for not being able to join in person today. I totally planned on it. And then we got over 2 feet of snow. So, again, apologies for not being there. My name, again, is Olivia Lopez. I work for the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency as a community involvement coordinator. I'm based out of the Boston office, and currently I'm living on the North Shore of Massachusetts. There's about 7 EPA employees who pretty much focus full time on the GE Housatonic site. And if you can hear my dog in the background, I am so sorry. If you're plugged into what's going on at the GE Housatonic site, you've probably already heard from me. I send out lots of emails from the R1 Housatonic web, the mailing list. And my role is really focused on working with the case team to really distribute information from EPA to the general public, forward questions that y'all might have over to our case team, and really understand community needs and relay that information to the decision-making team. Really just wanted to come on here today, just introduce myself, make myself available, share my contact information, as well as the website, which I'll pass over to Sarah, because it doesn't look like there's a chat option. But Sarah definitely has it. And Sarah, please feel free to send that around. And again, thank you so much for letting me join. This has been great to listen into. So I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Olivia. Bill, how about you?
Hello, everybody. Bill Callan. I'm GE's Community Involvement Coordinator. I, like Olivia, had planned to be there in person and apologize for not being there. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I'm just getting over a cold and didn't want to share that with everyone. Like the EPA team, GE has a large number of folks working on this project. They're in the design phases right now for much of the work. it's both GE employees and consultants. My role is going to be, as the project especially ramps up, to be the GE's face of the project in the community, engaging with the public, answering questions, providing information, coordinating with Olivia and the EPA team to make sure that the public is getting the correct information at the right time. And we've made a commitment to respond to inquiries within 3 business days. So if there's a question that we can't answer right away, we will commit to getting you the response and the information you need. And like Olivia, I will share my contact information after this with Sarah. I don't think she has it. So I will pass that along. It'll include the project website, a phone number for me, and an email address that will come to me as well.
Great. Thank you so much, Bill and Olivia. Just wanted to make sure that we all knew that. Jovanina. Yeah.
I couldn't have finished your sentence. I want to be clear. I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
None of us do here in this country. So you're talking about the rest of the river project?
Yeah. So specifically when it impacts Housatonic.
Okay.
So, yep.
Thank you.
And that is like years out, but I have made the request of Olivia's team to make sure that they begin to have like frequent communication with our community to make sure that we're apprised of the potential impacts and our like stakeholders and our voices are heard in that process.
That was so clear. Thank you.
I apologize for not being more clear up front. Thank you for the question. Okay, so that is Bill and Olivia. I'm just looking through my notes. At the next High C meeting, we're going to start talking about the different CPC grants that will be voted on at town meeting, which is May 2nd from 2 to 5 p.m., having to do with Hoosie. There is the opportunity after yesterday's select board meeting to pursue public comment on seasonal communities and residential tax exemption. And so is that something that you guys want to talk about and submit public comments for at our next meeting?
I mean, yes, I would love to be at that meeting, but
Well, so we're going to send an email. I'm going to send an email to see if we can do it the week before.
the only thing with the week before is school vacation, which might.
I can't do the week after.
Yeah.
So we're going to figure it out. And if you can't be there, then that's fine.
Yeah.
Louise isn't going to.
Good with you guys doing it whenever
Okay.
you can find the time.
Okay. So we're gonna add that to the agenda. Add public comment to agenda. Great. Any other all things Housatonic? Jovanina.
EPC grant, Chris Rumbold submitted for the Old Maids project. For I think it's $50,000 for a design and engineering team that wasn't in the original grant that we wrote. So that will also be voted on. And so if that project, which is just starting to move forward as of this week, if it doesn't have a design and engineering team, then you will have no design.
Okay, good to know. Will you send me an email and remind me to add that to the list of things we talk about town meeting? Thank you. Okay. Any other things for all things Housatonic? Wiley. Citizen speak is when everybody can talk, but if there's like specific Housatonic things, it's usually our committee who like lists some things that are going on.
So, because I'll try to keep this small, but it's kind of related to the GE thing a little bit, which is when I moved to New York City, and one of the organizations that I was involved in there was CURES. It stands for Citizens United for Railroad Environmental Solutions, I believe. And one of their big things was about diesel trains passing through residential areas uncovered, and particulate that people can be exposed to through open diesel trains, as well as leachate that comes, from onto the ground. And I moved here, didn't even think about it. And then suddenly between that and the GE staging and all the things that could be, I was like, is anyone like looking at that? Is that something, it's been, in New York, it has been a long, long haul to get, CSX to, they had to work through Albany to get those trains covered and to get the diesel trains upgraded to the most recent locomotives. It is a long fight. We're talking 10 to 20-year fight. And I don't know where we're at. I don't know anything about this issue in our community, but it's something that I wanted to bring to people's attention and to sort of see if anyone was thinking about it, looking at it, and if we need someone ever to come in who knows this issue inside and out, I can bring someone in.
That'd be great. Would you connect with me separately and we can talk about that? I know Berkshire Environmental Action Team has done a lot of work around this. I have on my to-do list to reach out to the Housatonic Rail Company to get a sense of their operating hours that they're thinking about in the future. But based on the conversations that were happening at the open house, those are very much specific to that's a rail company decision.
Yeah.
And so and obviously some of these design processy conversations haven't even happened yet. So let's have a conversation about that. Anything else for all things Housatonic?
Prosperity Way houses seem to be very few applicants.
Apply if you're eligible to the Prosperity Way houses.
I had applied and then time on this meeting up here. They seem great and nobody's applying. It's a very narrow, it's like a weird income bracket. And it's like 50 to 70 grand in household income. So, and there's a mortgage involved and all, right? And time and stuff. So I think some people are maybe not able to commit to whatever that requirement is. So just spread the word, I guess, for folks that, maybe young family who might be able to afford it.
Perfect. Thanks, Julie. Okay, citizen speak. I know we have a couple people. Bill Meyer, name and address, please.
Bill Meyer, I live down on George Street in the south, in Great Barrington. But I also I'm on the Parks Commission, and I heard a lot of discussion today about the Housatonic, the Housy Dome. There's a lot of overlay that I think we could talk about. I'm not here for that. As a citizen of Great Barrington, I was very concerned when we started talking about the school, about the bridges, about buying the Housatonic Water Company. We have a lot of big bills coming up in the town. And I was really concerned with my wife here, Maureen, who also lives with me at 11 George Street. But we both were very concerned about, what the effect on our taxes were going to be. And about that time, I got in touch with Michael Wise, who's done a lot of work with the residential tax exemption. And after looking over that, as just a citizen, I'm not on the select board. I own a very, very modest house in Great Barrington. I firmly believe that the residential tax exemption is something that will help the majority of the residents in Great Barrington and Housatonic to survive in this town more easily financially. And the bottom line is, after going through all the percentages and assessors decisions, there is a amount of money that is then removed from everybody's assessment. Everybody in town who is a resident gets that amount taken off, say $150,000. If your house is assessed at $300,000, then $150,000 for a tax assessment is going to be a very big drop. But if you have a house that's $1.3 million, taking $150,000 off is going to be less of a percentage, and it's not going to be as much of an effect on your taxes. It is fair because everybody has the same amount taken from their assessment. And I really think that we need to focus on that element of the fairness and the effect that it has on people who have modest means. Many of us here, and I'm just here I'm going to go to as many town meetings as I can and talk about this, because this is something that is state sanctioned, that was developed by the state to help people keep their residence in town and not have our real estate taken over by second homeowners. You know, and Great Barrington's a great place to live. I mean, look at what you guys got here. This is spectacular. You know, I'd like everybody to keep being able to come to meetings like this and live in our town reasonably, you know? So thanks for doing this. This is great. The food was awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, Mo, just introduce yourself and your name and address, please.
George Street, married to Bill. Bill and I have been paying attention to this initiative for a long time, and yeah, we do think it's, a lot of us talk about, when we talk about affordable housing, we talk about really, really the least among us, and we make housing that some of us maybe make too much to qualify, but yet with taxes having gone up like they have, the values of our homes having gone up like they have with everything we're up against that we have coming up. We think it's a great, great solution for many people who want to keep this as their town and don't have the money to have a really nice $1 million or $2 million house. I don't have that. If there's not really a deadline, and this isn't something that we as a town vote on, it's something that our select board decides. So there's a bunch of us that are committed to showing our select board what a good idea it is for a great many people. And, you know, the more people who can say, hey, this would work great for us, that's really helpful. If, you know, you just have seen us both, if you see us in town, you want to talk to us after the meeting and ask us questions. If you want to just know what it is, because it took me kind of like a month to even wrap my head around how it works and why we haven't done it sooner. I'm so happy to talk about that any place or anywhere that you see me, even after the meeting tonight. If you want to argue about it, he's your guy.
The one thing I would say also about it is that it's estimated that 90% of the people in Great Barrington, the residents in Great Barrington, would have their taxes reduced. 90%. So that's really something to consider.
And I see that this gentleman has a question.
I was just wrapping my head around the idea at Sammer's 74 Division Street, that your tax base has got to come from somewhere. And so that's 10%, the upper 10% is paying more and the lower 90% is paying less, is what you'd say.
It shifts the burden, but it's not an undue burden. It's a burden that just it shifts it so that
undue is great, and I wonder, you know, like
if
people want to know numbers, so you present them with numbers.
And you know,
talk to them about the numbers. Talk to us about numbers.
Yeah, we are happy to come back. We're happy to be on the agenda as a group. There are several people interested, as we are, and we're starting to get some materials together. But really, in a way, the deadline is November because it's at the select board's annual tax classification hearing that this gets decided. We all decide what we're willing to pay for as a town. And that's what happens when we go to annual meeting. We're like, we'll do this, we're not doing that, you know. But then how to chop that up is the decision that the select board makes for us. So they just need to hear what we're in favor of.
So,
Yeah, Louise, go ahead.
Louise Goldsmith, 1026 Main Street. So, Bill and Mo, how can we, people in this room, best support this initiative? What would you suggest somebody does?
This is, I think what we're trying to do is just really it's an education campaign. It's a complex issue. It's a big change. But we want to see people interested, asking questions, and in particular, going to a select board meeting and at citizen speak saying, hey, I've been following this, you know.
this would be really important for me because, you know, I lived in my house and my husband and we worked the whole time. We're about to retire. This is our story. Can we keep living here after we retire? There's a lot of people in that position. You know, people who are young and have bought a modest home. Wow, what happens, you know, if our taxes keep jumping and jumping? We want to keep that part of the community here because we feel like it's, those people they're our firemen. Our firemen have the 5 full-time people in our fire department have to live in town. Kind of hard to live in town, we all know that, if you're starting out here now. So that's what we want to do, try and help keep the middle of our community in place.
In terms of action items stuff, you know, ready, I mean, just
come to select board.
Keep the select board, keep it on the select boards. Keep it on their radar. You know, it's a complicated issue so that we gotta keep saying, yes, we are interested. Yes, we want this to be looked into because it's a burden to our town administrator to work through that complication to make it work for everybody. So if nobody's interested, it's not gonna go through. If there is interest, would you guys agree with that? Yeah, so.
All right, thanks, Bill and Mo. Any other things for citizen speak? Donna, go ahead.
Okay, I really wasn't ready to speak as so early in the meeting tonight. I was the last item on the agenda, so I just kind of want to finish up a couple of things. It might be that talking about water in Housatonic is enough of it. And it might be that it's just too depressing and people don't want to think about it. But I came tonight really hoping that this group would serve as ambassadors to go out into the community and talk with your neighbors about the fact that whole house filtration can solve the problem of contaminated water, especially when the summer warmer months start in again, and we don't have a green sand filtration in place at the source, and we've got this aged infrastructure, and if your house is filtered, your water's clean, and there are programs to help people get that accomplished. So if you could all, if you don't know about the program, I'm glad to talk with you about it, answer any questions. But if you could help out and just spread the word, you know, like you said, if nobody talks about it and if nobody cares, it won't get done. And this Housatonic Filter Initiative will just go this week.
The DPW, they all need to know that we're using the funds because it's important and it matters to the town. So if nobody's using the funds, they're gonna be like, well, there's no problem.
Right.
So we need to use the money, all of it, for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Could it be sent out with like the annual tax bill or something? Is there
There's been a significant amount of flyers sent out.
Okay.
Now, Liz Hartsgrove did a real big campaign about the
Yeah.
rebate in general.
Okay.
And so since she started that, about 50% of the money has been used.
Oh, good.
And that
Okay.
was as of, I haven't gotten an update in a few weeks, but it was a couple weeks ago, we were over 50%. And
Great.
the phone was ringing off the hook and so between Donna getting the word out and talking at all the meetings and Liz's very aggressive flyer went out, I believe in the tax bills, it went out in a few different things. I got them with whether it's the census and you know your dog license, all that stuff, it was all in there.
Right.
And
I had to be a copy of the flyer at the store because we had one posted and people kept wanting to take it with
Yeah,
them. So,
and we
thanks for that update.
for
That's
those. So I was gonna get an update, yeah.
Because that fund, the Great Barrington Relief Fund, can help at most 100 households, and then the money runs out. And that's when Housatonic Filter Initiative is hoping to supplement those funds. I have to go out and do major fundraising. I'm looking at raising $100,000 to help the next 50 people, and that's a huge job. So all the support that I can get, I will get the job done. I can't do it all by myself. And if anybody is interested in volunteering, to do any fundraising, to help administer the program and do community outreach, because believe it or not, there are a lot of people who don't know. And the community outreach is not just about saying, hey, these programs are available. When I'm at the Housatonic Market, when it's once a month, I meet people who don't want filtration. They don't need help. And they're just can't really wrap a brain around the fact that the laundry could be cleaned this summer. So I am finding some pushback from this town, people not wanting the filter. So while a lot of people are applying, that's great. I have 50 applications, but there are 800 households serviced by the water works. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just say one other thing too, yeah, and just regards to what Bill was talking about, last night there was a select board meeting and the assessor gave a very detailed report on residential tax exemption. It's been 4 years, 5 years since I've been on board. This was the most detailed one. It is a very complex situation, so I do suggest that if anybody's interested in it, that they our select board meetings are always on YouTube. And I believe the whole packet and everything was gonna get posted on the site, and I'll make sure that it does, our town website. But it is complicated and it is, it's something, and I'll just speak now with my select board hat on it. It's something that you really gotta take some time to understand it, because it does benefit a group of folks who are full-time residents. But it does increase, there's a breaking point in the numbers, and it's just all these math formulas, so. I just suggest, and I'm doing the same, I'm really trying to educate myself on all the ins and outs on it, because, it has the possibility of, affecting people's rents if they've been in a spot for a long time and are paying rent, that, those sort of things, so. It has been getting used out in the Cape, and it sounds like it's working out well for them there. There's different percentages, it could be 1% up to 35% if the swing goes. But it is something that in the next few months, I suggest all the boards are supposed to be talking about it. And it's a lot of information to digest, so the sooner you start, the better you'll understand it. And just to cap that, I haven't confirmed it yet, but it's been my understanding that it goes to town meeting, the vote. So we might, the select board makes the agenda. And I believe that, but I could be mistaken on that, so I'm gonna circle back on that.
Yeah, there's certain parts of it. We wanted to adopt the MGL bylaw about rentals that would go to town meeting, but I think the actual tax rate is just a select board vote that would be in the fall. Yeah, all of this, the whole reason that this has been sent out to the communities, and we're kind of talking about this right now, is because it's gone out to all of the communities throughout town. We are trying to gather feedback and to get people aware of exactly what the different options are and how it would affect you. Like Eric said, the materials from last night's meeting, we had a very long, great in-depth meeting about this, as well as the seasonal community designation, which would affect that if passed. They all kind of work together. It's online. It's kind of a slideshow that you probably need more context than just looking at the slides alone, but it's kind of a good place to start. But when is the actual meeting that we're going to come back? It's in March.
It's in March sometime, yeah. I think it's the end of March.
Yeah, I felt like March 25th, but it's not, so I'm not sure. But end of March, basically, we're collecting feedback leading up into that point. We really want to hear from people. It's everything Bill and Eric saying. There's a lot. It's complicated, and actually understanding how it will affect you. So education is a big part of this. And so reach out to us, reach out to anyone who's kind of willing to talk about it. It is important. It is one of the only levers we have from the state as far as kind of being able to move around the tax burden. And as Bill said, we have a lot of things coming up and trying to shift the burden so much while we are doing these projects. All of these things are really worth taking the time to look at. So,
Anything, Wiley, go ahead.
Still survey, I looked online, I could not find it. Is it closed? To be able to, I know there was like a community survey, like what do you want to see at Ramsdale Library, et cetera, et cetera. Is that closed now?
So the survey is, I think that is recommended by Liz, our town manager, because she wants to get community input, and it is in the process of being built. And then we have to have a QR code that will be put on all of the displays, and anyone could click that QR code and go into the survey.
Okay, so it doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Liz has been so busy with everything.
Okay, cool. I just
So
didn't want to.
it's coming.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, y'all. Anything else for citizen speak? Seeing nothing, we're going to move on to media time. I know we have some people from the media on Zoom. If you would like to ask any questions, please raise your hand. Amelia, go ahead.
Hi, not so much a question. I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm new to the Berkshire Edge, and I'm a Berkshire County alumna. I went to Monument Mountain Regional High School. My mother worked at Taft Farm. I used to do open mics at the Guthrie Center, and to be able to jump into this meeting and see all the wonderful things you guys are doing, it's very encouraging, just on a personal note. So I look forward to attending more of these meetings and see what happens.
Great. Thanks so much. Okay, I see no other hands. So with that, we are going to move to adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn at 8:41 p.m.? Do I have a second? All those in favor? Aye. Thank you all.